Welcome to the Growing Your Business podcast, a program created to answer the question, what's in it for me, for both the business and their customers. Today's guest had this to say.
We did a media training with someone in a video, and they said that they had a client reach out to them specifically because they liked how they told their story. I had helped her craft her story, and that meant so much to me because she was an amazing woman and had a really, really cool story why she did what she did. And I just loved being able to help her realize that her experience and her value in what she does is different than someone else because of who she is.
Now, stay tuned as we hear more on their values, mission, and why they continue to grow their business. Joining me today on the Growing Your Business podcast is Sarah Strackhouse with Strackhouse Media. Sarah, thanks for joining me in the studio.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm
great to see you
excited.
here. Yeah, it's very fun. Yeah. Let's jump right in with what do you do and how do you benefit your customers?
All right. So we are a multimedia company. So we have two main focuses. We do AV production, and then we also have the media services side. We also have content creation that kind of surrounds both of those sides. So the content and video work if you're in the events world, and then also the video side of things in the media services. But how we benefit our customers, our background is in storytelling. Yeah. So mostly all former journalists who we work with. And storytelling is such an important part of growing your business because that really makes people want to work with you, like you, care about you. So we try to do that in everything we do. So on the AV and event side, we tell your story. We try to put together an incredible event that people are really proud of. So the other side of things is media. So whether it's pitching, whether it's training you to be comfortable on camera and telling your story, some of those things are so important in order to get your story across and then ultimately your brand so that people actually want to work with you.
You have a long history in media. Mm-hmm. How did you get your start?
So it's kind of a funny story. Yeah. My mom was walking down the street in our neighborhood and she heard my dog trailing and she was, 5 houses down. She goes, "What are you doing?" And then our neighbor turned and said, "I'm so sorry, I'm just working on my car." And then, so it was just kind of a funny story about, how they were chatting. She was like, "No, I was yelling at the dog, not yelling at you." And they just started talking, and he was kind of a head executive at one of the news stations in New York City. And he was saying that, we're looking for interns. And at the time I was doing graphic design. So my mom said that she was, that I'd probably be interested.
Sure.
So I started in the graphic design intern world and then eventually got into news. So I eventually got into field production, videography, reporting, anchoring, producing, and I fell into it.
Yeah. Thank God for moms.
Thank God for moms. Thank God for my dog.
Yeah,
I love
moms
dogs,
and dogs.
So, yeah.
You cannot be a dog person after that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting. Short story. My mom found an ad for an internship. Same deal at a TV station.
It's
and
so
that's
funny.
how I got my start.
I know, you catch the news bug.
35 years ago. Yeah.
Yep,
It's
you do.
Been some time. The news bug. There's an adrenaline there. That,
yes.
That's pretty much most people do it for that reason. That's excellent.
Yeah.
So, who is your ideal client right now?
So on the AV side, it's pretty much anyone who's hosting an event. We do small, large, whether it's, an event for 50 people, just a small conference, small gala, something like that, or it's a real bread and butter are the larger conferences, general session, a few breakout rooms. We love helping people put on a successful conference and leaving their people feeling like they're getting education, getting something out of it. So those are the ideal clients on that side, usually smaller to medium, large, but not necessarily the 20, 30,000 people
Giant
conference.
Corporate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's actually similar on the media side. So we actually have a media course coming out. And the people that we're looking for on that end are those who are ready to take their thought leadership to the next level. They kind of already have a business. They already have a business plan. They already have clientele, but they're looking to be the expert in their field and actually let people know that they're there. There might be a doctor and they're interested in finally getting on social media, finally starting to blog and have a podcast and get their name out there in ways that are just a little bit different than just seeing clients. So we're really trying to help those people get comfortable in front of the camera, get comfortable pitching themselves. It might be, medium-sized companies, entrepreneurs that don't have a $20,000 budget for PR, and they're looking to learn how to pitch themselves. They're looking how to get comfortable on camera, what equipment to even use. I mean, some of those things are so in my mind and probably your mind, we think, oh, of course, you're just going to use this equipment. Of course, you need to be front lit, these things. But to other people, these things might not make sense. So, we're looking to help those people just get started and kind of take it from there.
I'm sure you served a lot of different types of customers. Everybody loves a story. Tell me about somebody, you don't have to mention the name, but that you brought from not understanding to really getting it.
Yeah. So there was one woman that I was working with. It's so funny that you say that. And she was wanting to put together a story of her mother who was getting older. And she was just using kind of her phone, and it was so dark. She was in a dark room. You could barely hear her. She was so far away. And she was like, I want to make a video because people find my mom so funny. She says the most ridiculous things, and she's getting older. And before she passes, I want to put something together. So I helped her, and I just, it's just Amazon equipment or little equipment from Walmart or Best Buy or basic things. I helped her get, a little light kit, a little microphone, even using her phone, right? Sure. And I just taught her little different ways that you can set it up, and then how far away she needs to be, where she needs to be, a window in front of her instead of behind her, little things like that. And she ended up making this beautiful video, and I just sent her all the information, and, I just kind of gave her instructions. She made this beautiful video that her family loved, and she did like 6 episodes or something like that, and it ended up going viral. And she was so excited, and her family loved it, and her mom ended up passing before the release of the last video. So it was pretty special that they were able to capture these things in better quality. So it was pretty cool being part of that.
Yeah, especially
in just a little way,
Yeah. Especially for a legacy type thing.
Yes.
I mean, and we, it's hard to value what you have when you have it. We all miss it after it's gone. But
exactly.
I encourage everybody, get out your phone, even without this coaching, and record an interview with your folks. You'll definitely cherish it.
Yes.
Stay with us. The Growing Your Business podcast will return right after this. Ready to amplify your brand's voice? At Blue Mike Studios, we transform your ideas into captivating podcasts and videos. Whether you're launching your own show or guest starring on ours, we've got you covered. From recording and editing to social media promotion. With state-of-the-art 4K video and crystal clear audio, your content will shine. We offer guest packages on our podcasts and offer segments from the show for you to share. Or let us help you build your own branded podcast with custom strategy, branding, and full production support. Visit BlueMikeStudios.com today and let your voice be heard. Please check our show notes for sponsorship links and additional details. Now, back to the Growing Your Business podcast with Buddy Broyles. So, Sarah, you mentioned a media course and media services. Talk to me, give me a little more depth there.
Yeah. So our media course, we have a beta coming out this summer.
Okay.
So we're looking for people to join us to basically give us feedback. So it's going to be 70% off the actual price of the course. And we're looking for people to say, hey, I loved this content. Hey, I wanted more of this. I didn't see this enough. I would love this. I would like longer, shorter modules. We're looking for feedback because we really want to make sure that this is tailored towards our client, our ideal client. And the course is going to go through everything from learning how to pitch yourself, learning how to feel comfortable on camera, what to wear, if you're a host, how to ask questions, what type of, if someone starts to go off topic, how to bring it back, little things like this that really add up and you're just not sure how to direct the question. The other big thing that people always want to know is how to respond to a question that you're uncomfortable with. That's why a lot of people don't go on podcasts, don't go on media, don't try to get themselves in front of audiences because they don't know how to answer questions. So we go through all of those things. We have a little bit about AI and how to use that in media. Like I said, we go through media pitching, how to pitch yourself to TV, podcasts, free resources, because there are so many out there. And reporters need content. Whether you're a podcaster or you're a writer or television, everyone is looking for content. And I think that people don't realize they bring value. They have a story. Even if it's like someone else's story, they don't have the exact same experience. So people have value and they should be pitching. themselves. So all of those things are in the course, and you can find that at strackhousemedia.com/media course.
Excellent.
Trying to keep it easy. Yeah.
Yes.
So the sign up is there. And then, like I said, when the course is actually ready, they'll get an email and all the information and be able to actually sign up.
That's terrific. What a great resource.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that all of that information is in the show notes as well. So just scroll down wherever you're listening or watching. It's there. And if anything updates, you can send it.
Thank you.
We'll keep it updated.
And there's actually, we even have a couple guest modules that have to do with public speaking, some podcasting, and a couple of other things. So there should be a ton of information. And then there's all, coaching on there as well. So really, hopefully all inclusive for people.
What's your favorite part about what you do?
I'd say my favorite part is when someone gets a positive reaction after something they did that I helped them do. Right. I know that sounds a little ambiguous, but I had we did a media training with someone in a video, and they said that they had a client reach out to them specifically because they liked how they told their story. And I had helped her craft her story. And that meant so much to me because she was an amazing woman and had a really, really cool story why she did what she did. And I just loved being able to help her realize that her experience and her value in what she does is different than someone else because of who she is.
Right.
So it was really special being part of that.
But it's still, the story still has to be crafted
it still has to be crafted.
Yeah.
You don't want to lie, fib, embellish, those things, but you still have to tell the story because that's why people like you over, Joe Schmo.
Right. You find your people through storytelling.
Exactly.
That's excellent.
Exactly.
So best way to reach you is through the website?
strackhousemedia.com.
That's terrific.
Yep.
Parting thoughts?
Parting thoughts, I think I kind of said it before, but everyone has value. Everyone has an experience. Everyone has a story. We just want to help you tell it.
Excellent. So. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks
it's been
great
great meeting you, talking to you, and hearing your journey.
You too. I really appreciate you. What you're doing is great.
Thank you for joining us today on the Growing Your Business podcast. Please see the show notes for links to our sponsors, our social media, and to learn more about today's guest.